Good evening, everyone. Jai Hind to all of you. I hope I am audible and visible to all of you. I would suggest you all to keep your cameras on while we are in the class. Yes, everyone. I hope all of you have joined. Please communicate to some of your friends who may wish to join. We can wait for another couple of minutes before we really get started with today's session. Am I audible to you? Can anyone confirm?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about others? Othrik, HP, Jasmine, Kunal. What about you guys? Am I audible to you guys as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is advisable to keep your cameras on in the class. It would be much better that way. Yes. Hello, Hotrek. How are you? I can't hear you guys. सुन पा रहे हैं आप लोग? Audible and visible?
Yes, sir.
Shubhadeep, I'm not audible. You're not audible. Hotrek, you're also not audible. Jasmine, Kunal, and others who may wish to join as well. Okay. So first of all, congratulations to those of you who have made it to the program. It has been, we have made sure that we have maintained the quality of the batch and kept it really small because the learning outcome should not be compromised. So as you all understand, most of you who have appeared in the phase one, many of you are likely to qualify and write the phase two examination. So we have to understand that, this examination now, since we're done with the objective, phase one was mostly an objective exam, isn't it? Now, phase two examination will more or less test your writing ability. You know the syllabus, you know the pattern of the examination. You will be writing a few essays. The most important skill that will be tested here is your writing ability. Okay. So writing ability will be something that will be tested. Today, we will have a special guest in the session who will share his insights on writing essays as well as general approach to mains examinations, UPSC as well as otherwise. So it will be a learning experience for you as well. So I hope you all keep your notebooks handy, and whatever inputs are shared, please keep your phones on mute now. Kunal, could you keep your phone on mute? Yeah. So keep your notebooks handy and note down whatever little points. So first we will have a discussion with the guest. Then I will take over the session. So today we are joined in by Major Abhinandan Singh, happens to be my younger brother as well. He's now a serving officer of the Indian Police Service, and we have requested him to join the session today. And let us check whether he can join us. Ms. Neha can confirm whether Major Abhinandan has joined the session. Yes. So I welcome Major Abhinandan to all of you. So over to you, Major. So a little introduction before he briefs you. So Major Abhinandan happens to have served in the Indian Army for close to a decade, where he had served in various theatres, including Northeast. उन्होंने नॉर्थ ईस्ट में भी सर्व किया है, जम्मू कश्मीर, all the international border from Jammu and Kashmir to Rajasthan, Gujarat. After that, he qualified the UPSC Civil Services examination twice in a row and is now an officer of the Indian Police Service. So he will be sharing a few insights from his experience about how to approach written examinations and what is the approach, what is the mindset needed. So over to you, Major Abhinandan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Good evening, Jai Hind, everyone. How is everybody? Kindly unmute and let me know.
I would advise you all to keep the phones on mute, unmuted right now, because it will be an interactive session. So keep your phones muted and audio, video also on. It would be convenient that way. So keep your phones unmuted, everyone. Hotrek, Aimon, Jasmine, HP, everyone.
Kindly confirm if I'm audible to all of you so
Yes,
that we
Yeah.
can start with the session.
I request you all to make this session interactive. Otherwise, there's no point at all, isn't it? So let's make it a more interactive session.
Okay. So thank you, sir. Good evening and Jai Hind, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. And as I was just listening to the introduction that was briefly given by Navjot sir, that most of you have appeared, and in fact, all of you have appeared for the Tier 1 examination of the IB and now are just about on the verge of preparation for the Tier 2. I'll not take much of your time because you are in fact in the safe hands of Navjot sir, and he will definitely be guiding you in most of the things, including the essay writing and all other things. I am here to talk about a little bit about how we should think about things, how or what kind of mindset is required to be able to clear any examination. I'm not specifically talking about any UPSC examination or IB examination. It is about any challenges in life. So the most important thing in life, when we talk about challenges, it is the belief system and the mindset. So I'm here to talk about very briefly about the beginning of any challenge, beginning of any struggle. So now you are into the Tier 2, or some of you might also be preparing for civil services examination. Some of you might be preparing for the defense examinations. The most important factor is the belief system, that yes, I can do it come what may. I'll tell you a very small example. I was interacting with one of my friends who happens to be in the Railways Management Service, IRMS. He qualified the UPSC last year and has written the mains this year also. So that friend of mine had failed in the UPSC prelims 3 times. And last year we had gone for a session in IIT Kanpur. And en route we were having a conversation, and then he told me that, sir, despite failing 3 times, 3 बार fail होने के बावजूद, he told me that, sir, वो belief system था कि कहीं ना कुछ करके I will make it. So the only lesson that I want all of you to take home today is that belief system. The belief that if there are mountains and your route, you are still going to surpass all of them and you are still going to sail through. So that is the first and the most important lesson that you must understand. Because a lot of students will qualify this Tier 1 examination, and as such, I've been told that there are 3,700 vacancies this year. So a lot of students will be writing the Tier 2 as well. And what differentiates you from the others is that belief system for the starter. Other than the belief system, if I were to talk about the other things which definitely are going to help you. Now, answer writing practice, since this is going to be a subjective thing. Now, taking an example of UPSC examination or any examination. I was there in a session in Lucknow. I think there were 1,000 plus students present there attending the session. And somebody asked me a question that, sir, how do I improve my answer writing practice? And I'm sure this is very much pertinent to you, since the subjective phase is there and you will be required to write your essays and the other papers. So he asked me a question, sir, how do I improve the answer writing practice? And UPSC has a success rate of 1,000 students are selected every year out of 10 lakh people. So that is the percentage that is there. Now, I simply told all the students who were there, I think the date was 24th of October 2024, last year, exactly around about a year ago. So I gave them a task that every day starting 24th of October till 24th of November, complete एक महीने का समय मैंने उनको दिया, and told them that all of you write just 2 answers every day. How much it takes to write 2 answers? 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And I told them to report back to me on 24th. I gave them my email ID. एंड मैंने उनको बताया कि 1 महीने बाद आई वुड लाइक ऑल ऑफ यू टू गिव मी फीडबैक कि सर मैंने इस महीने में इतने क्वेश्चंस आई वाज एबल टू राइट एंड आई could or could not write 60 that was given by you. Now I would like to ask a question to you. आपके अनुसार, according to you, out of those 1000 students who were there in this session, कितने बच्चों का मुझे मेल आया होगा? I would like to know from you. How many
Please,
students wrote back to me?
I would want you to, be interactive. It will make more sense. Yes. Autrik, you are not, you're on mute, I guess. Your voice is not audible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Autrik says 10. Jasmine, what's your number? According to you,
10.
कितने बच्चों ने?
10 to 20, sir. 10 to
20. Kunal, what about you?
200.
200. So that's around about 20%. Shubhadeep Tripathi,
Sir,
what according to you should be the number?
Sir, 500.
500. That's 50%. Okay. HP?
Out of 1000, right?
HP? Shubham Swami Datta? Any guesses? Anybody?
70%, sir.
So 70%. So we are getting the numbers right from 10 to 500, 600, 700. All of you will be amazed that the number of students who wrote back to me was only 1. And that is exactly the success rate of UPSC.
0.0001.
Out of 10 lakh people, only 1000 are selected. And that is the reason out of 1000 students, only 1 student wrote back. उनको काम क्या मिला था? Just a very small little task of writing just 15 minutes every day for 30 days. But how many of them did it? Only 1. So that must give you the insight that what is the requirement of any mains examination. This is going to be the mains for you. Now, sir will be teaching you, sir will be giving you the insights about essay, how to write a good essay, what are the constituents, how to think about it. But unless and until you pick up the pen, you pick up the paper and start writing down every day, you are not going to improve. So get up and start acting. And the most or the biggest hurdle in the answer writing practice is the beginning, is the initiation. A lot of students have this doubt. आपके दिमाग में भी शायद होगा कि सर आंसर राइटिंग पता ही नहीं चल रहा कि शुरू कैसे करनी है. How do I start writing a good essay? How do I start? Even if you are writing a bad essay, start. It is not about producing the best quality in the first attempt. जब पहला ही essay आप लिखेंगे, definitely that is going to be a very bad essay. Now here I always give the analogy of, let's say, something from athletics. We'll pick up a marathon. Marathon, can somebody tell me what is the distance that we run in a marathon, a full marathon? What is the approximate distance? Yes.
25.
25.
25 kilometers.
No, it is, anybody else?
42 kilometers.
Yes, Kunal is right here. It's 42.15 or 16 kilometers. Now, if I were to tell you that next year, around the same time, October, आपको 42 kilometers भागना है. So what is it that you're going to do? Are you going to run 42 kilometers on day 1? Is it going to happen? It is not going to happen. On day 1, you will only be able to run, let's say, 500 meters or at max 1 kilometers. Some of you who have been running since long, you might be able to run 5 kilometers. But the moment you start doing it every day, for example, you start with 1. In 15 days time, you will be running 3 kilometers. In 1 month's time, you will be running 5. In 2 months, you will be running 10. In 6 months, you will be running 20 kilometers. And maybe 9 months time, you will be able to reach that 42 kilometers. So it is a part of the process that we need to trust. Here, the second lesson that I want all of you to take is trust the process and don't be disheartened with the process, because process is what will give you the results. हम गलती ये करते हैं कि process के दौरान ही हमें results चाहिए. That is not going to happen. If you want कि अगले 10 दिन में आप मैराथन भाग लें, वो नहीं होने वाला है. लेकिन if you are consistent enough, if you are ruthless enough, then definitely by the time आपका मेंस का डेट आता है, you will definitely be in a position to outperform many other candidates. And the third and the final lesson which I want you to give today, that is, जैसा स्टार्टिंग में मैंने कहा कि 10 लाख बच्चे एग्जाम दे रहे हैं, but you need to understand that your competition is never going to be with those 10 lakh people. Your competition is always going to be with yourself. क्योंकि हमें किसी के साथ नहीं लड़ना है, हमें लड़ना है अपने इनडिसिप्लिन के साथ, अपनी lethargy के साथ, and we are required to learn to be in discipline. There is no enemy other than the person you see in the mirror. So आज के बाद I would like all of you to understand कि आपका कंपटीशन सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपनी रूटीन के साथ है, अपनी इनडिसिप्लिन के साथ है, और आपको अपने साथ लड़के अपने आप को रोज हराना है. You have to beat yourself every day. If you can do that, let me tell you, you will never fail in life. A related question which students sometimes ask is, sir, how to stay consistent? Consistency is something which is indispensable to any successful venture, may it be examination, may it be anything that you want to do in life. You have to repeatedly hit the nail and hit the nail. Because all of you must have seen, जो लोग गांव वगैरह में जिन्होंने well देखे हैं, how many of you have seen wells? Let me know. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
All of you have seen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well की जो outside boundary होती है, that is made up of a rock or cement. It is concrete. And जो हमारा bucket है जिससे हम पानी बाहर निकालते हैं, that is tied to a rope. Now, a rope as compared to rock is nothing in terms of the strength, right? A rope is supposed to be soft, but a rock is supposed to be hardened by the processes of the geology. But what happens with consistency? You see, every day the people are pulling up the rope. Every day they're doing it. And after a few months, you see that though the rope has also weared out, but it has cast its impression on the rock. So, itni hard cheez mein it has been able to cast an impression, and that is the power of consistency. Championship is not won in a single day. I don't want you to prepare for IB or UPSC or anything. I want you to prepare for life. Be ruthless, be so disciplined, and be so confident. इतना विश्वास रखना है, जैसा हमने स्टार्ट किया, कि उस बिलीफ सिस्टम के साथ शुरुआत करनी है कि कल को भगवान भी आके आपको नीचे आके कह दें कि बेटा इस साल आपका नहीं होने वाला है. तो बिल्कुल ऑनेस्टी के साथ, कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ, और साथ ही ह्यूमिलिटी के साथ भगवान को कहने की हिम्मत रखनी है कि भगवान इस बार मेहनत करी है, इस बार तो होगा, नेक्स्ट टाइम आपका नंबर आएगा. तो आई वांट यू टू हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ बिलीफ सिस्टम. If you are able to take some of the lessons that I've discussed today, the lessons can go on, but I understand there is a limitation of time. You have a class to attend, so I'll not take much of your time, but start believing it. Start believing yourself. Start learning to imbibe the idea of discipline in your life and consistency in your life. And let me tell you, if you do that, 1 year, 2 years from now, you will be proud of yourselves. And that is all that matters. And in all this discussion that we are having, never forget that whatever that you are doing today, whatever you are preparing for today, is not for yourself. It is to give yourself a platform in which you will be able to serve the country. Shah Rukh Khan कहता है कि, what does Shah Rukh Khan say? उनका एक famous dialogue है. Anybody who can recite that for the benefit of class? Shubham, you have something to say?
Something like Kaina something.
शाह रुख खान कहते हैं कि अगर आप किसी चीज को शिद्दत से चाहो तो सारी कायनात आपको वो चीज दिलाने में लग जाती है. सबने सुना है ये?
Yes.
बट शाहरुख खान जो है या उनके स्क्रिप्ट राइटर जो थे, उन्होंने एक इंपॉर्टेंट कंपोनेंट यहाँ पे मिस कर दिया. वो ये था कि आपको शिद्दत तो चाहिए, लेकिन शिद्दत से ज्यादा क्या मैटर करता है? the purity of your intentions, कि किस intention के साथ आप उस चीज की तैयारी कर रहे हैं. If you want to prepare for something and are preparing for something with a divine purpose, with a purpose which is higher than your individual self-interest, and that is the service of the country. And let me tell you with all conviction that God will not let you fail. The universe will not let you fail. So kindly learn these things, try to include them in your thought process, in your mindset, and definitely you are going to do a lot better than what you were already doing. I'll not take much of your time. If anybody is having any questions or anything to discuss.
Thank you, Maj Abhinandan. Your insights were really meaningful. We will have a few questions I will ask from the point of view of candidates before we have a session. So since this, phase 2 program, first of all, the ideas that you pointed out very pertinently, the relevance of consistency and, immersing yourself in the process, becoming one with it, how you can really transform yourself into, that warrior that you need to be. So going on with the sense of this examination that is needed, UPSC mains, or for example, this IB mains. So what do you think are the key essentials, key ingredients? Because different people have different approach when they write essays. If I talk about myself, I've spoken to many of my friends who have scored exceptionally well in UPSC mains. So everyone approaches differently. Some of them will make a structure, like some of my friends, they've scored in 140s, 150s. They would make a structure and then they would plan their essay accordingly. I myself never prepared a structure. I just, brainstormed a little bit and I just went with the flow. So every person has a different strategy. So what would be your insights to the candidates? Because this will not be a 125 marks or 250 marks essay. This will be a 300 to 500 word essay. So what would be your insights to the candidates? How to analyze a topic, how to choose a topic, and how to go forward?
Okay. So first of all, the most important difference that we need to understand with respect to the essay. Essay is totally different from what we call a general studies answer. A general studies answer is totally made up of facts. But we have to understand that essay, even if it is 500 words or even if it is 1500 words, a essay to a reader, to the examiner जो उसको check करने वाला है, for him or her, it should be read as if it is a poetry, as if it is a novel which is written very beautifully. उसमें continuity होनी चाहिए. Sometimes GS में क्या करते हैं? We have multiple points. एक point लिखा, दूसरा point लिखा, तीसरा point लिखा, and we are done with it. And we have one line conclusion or two line conclusion. But essay में the only difference is it has to be a flow, flowing like a stream, जो कि एक नदी के बहाव की तरह चल रहा है, automatically transition हो रहा है. पढ़ने वाले को difference ही नहीं महसूस हो रहा कि कब एक idea से we have moved to the different idea. So that is the most important component of essay, जिसमें वो harmony है one paragraph to another paragraph. And secondly, an essay has to be constituting a lot of things. A lot of things when I say, उसका मतलब है essay has to have a literary component, as in some kind of poetry, some kind of quotes. Essay has to have some kind of relevant anecdote, कोई किस्सा ऐसा जो आपने पढ़ा है कहीं history से related या present से related. Some kind of relevant data जिसको आप अच्छे से synchronize करके you fit into the requirement of the essay. And also at the same time some dimensions which are to be covered. Dimension सिर्फ differentiate हमने करना, जैसे GS की हमने बात करी, तो GS में the point is we keep it isolated, the dimensions. For example, हम pestle approach की बात करते हैं कि political, economic, social, all that. So all that has to be a component of essay, but not in the way कि जो GS में वो mention होता है. इसमें जैसा मैंने कहा seamless flow होना चाहिए. Once we have discussed, let's say कि political ends, एक simple से sentence में जब हम वो paragraph खत्म कर रहे हैं, next paragraph we are starting, we have to give that connector that having discussed this particular component of this topic, now it is logical that we shift our focus towards something which is, let's say, from local domain to the national and national to the international domain. Then ऐसे में एक approach रहती है temporal approach. So temporal approach में what we do is we discuss the dimensions in terms of timelines. Timelines की जब हम बात करते हैं, timelines is about, let's say, कोई टॉपिक है तो उसमें हम पहले बात करेंगे एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री की, और वी कैन इवन गो बियॉन्ड एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री टू प्री हिस्टोरिक टाइम्स. तो व्हाट वाज द सिस्टम इन प्री हिस्टोरिक टाइम्स, then we move on to ancient, then medieval, then present, then future in terms of what AI brings to the table, what technology is bringing to the table, what machine learning is bringing to the table. So वो dimensions हमें create करनी है, web of lot of information, but कोशिश करनी है एक coherent system. एक पढ़ने वाले को ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए कि random information provide की जा रही है. And very strong conclusion and very strong introduction. क्योंकि we often say कि फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन इज द लास्ट इंप्रेशन. दो आई डू नॉट एग्री कि फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन इज द लास्ट इंप्रेशन. आपको हमेशा मौका मिलेगा, बट एक चीज है जो हम डिनाई नहीं कर सकते, दैट यू विल नॉट गेट एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू गिव योर फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन अ सेकंड टाइम. आपका जो फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन है ऐसे का, वो पहले ही पैराग्राफ से जो चेक करने वाला है उसको चला जाएगा. सो बी वेरी केयरफुल. सर विल टीच यू वेरी ब्यूटिफुली कि इंट्रोडक्शन को पावरफुल कैसे बनाना है विद एनेक्डोट्स एंड ऑल दैट. So make it very powerful. Introduction sets the tone कि आपका essay की क्वालिटी क्या होने वाली है. And similarly, उसमें थोड़ा सा emotive component has to be there. Emotional appeal करनी है to the examiner. चेक करने वाले को ऐसा लगना चाहिए कि student is writing from the heart. पढ़ने वाले को जब वो conclusion तक पहुंचेगा, ऐसे सवाल उसको पूछ देने हैं, ऐसे emotionally उसको appeal कर देना है कि he thinks this student is genuinely interested in bringing about the change, genuinely thinks about the country, genuinely wants to be a change maker. तो वो चीजें अगर आप पढ़ने वाले में क्रिएट कर पाएंगे, then I am very convinced that you will get very good marks. बाकी जैसे सर ने कहा, स्ट्रक्चर बनाना है नहीं बनाना है, that is entirely your call. But ये जो कुछ चीजें हमने डिस्कस करी, that have to be a part of your essay.
I would want to build on this idea very beautifully. You pointed out how the essay needs to be, literally correct, because I generally always emphasize on this fact that in the essay, in GS papers, any of the GS papers, you can make a spelling mistake. Even there also you should make sure that you make no cuttings, but cuttings are criminal in the essay paper. Spelling mistakes, grammatical mistakes, they are criminal. So it is always advisable, it should come across as a neat and clean handwriting should be there, and the words should be very clearly visible. And throughout your expression, your power of expression, your language, that should grip the examiner. It should make the examiner want to read more of what you have written. It should not look like a ChatGPT transcript that, these days I would avoid you to use these AI tools for some time if you're preparing for UPSC mains, because there you have to be imaginative, and imagination is killed when we go into this artificial intelligence. Your own intelligence kind of gets script. So Maj Abhinandan, I want to also want you to highlight few things, since this will be examination pertaining to a security organization. So we will have to make more insights with respect to maybe security angles, how famine in a certain part of a country can turn into an internal security threat, or how, for example, this situation emerging in Ladakh, what is happening with Mr. Wangchuk, farmer protest happening in the Northeast, we have certain. So how we can integrate these ideas, or various other socio-economic conflicts, cultural conflicts. For example, there was a stampede in some part of the country some time back. So crowd management, mob management, since you also happen to be an officer of the Indian Police Service, so what are your insights from that perspective as well?
Okay. So first of all, very rightly brought out that जब भी हम essay लिखेंगे, जैसा मैंने कहा, temporal approach होना बहुत जरूरी है. But at the same time, essay हमें एक मौका देता है कि हमारे जो knowledge है, हमारा जो सोचने का तरीका है, that is highlighted in our words, in the examples that we give. तो इन्हीं examples के दरमियान हमें ये चीज जरूरी ध्यान में रखनी है कि relevant contemporary examples, जैसा मैंने बात करा कि present की भी बात करनी है आपको. So once you are discussing the present domain, and particularly जैसा सर ने कहा कि you are required to be serving in a security organization, तो security hazard से और security concerns जो हैं हमारे different, जैसे लद्दाख का सर ने example दिया, तो एक चीज तो है कि आप पढ़ के आपको चीजें समझ आती हैं. दूसरा है कि in every situation, for example लद्दाख situation का example ले लिया हमने, for example you take north east में जो चीजें हो रही हैं, तो one thing is you learn about things by reading them. But the other thing is, आप अपने आप को एक स्टेक होल्डर मानिए उस चीज में। फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम लद्दाख में बात करते हैं, तो कंसिडर योरसेल्फ कि यू आर द पर्सन हु इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर टेकिंग द डिसीजन कि लद्दाख में 6 शेड्यूल स्टेटस दिया जाना चाहिए कि नहीं दिया जाना चाहिए। डू वी गिव देम अ सेपरेट स्टेटहुड और नॉट? तो इन चीजों पे जब आप एज अ स्टेक होल्डर सोचते हैं तो यू विल हैव अ वेरी वेरी पर्सनल काइंड ऑफ ओपिनियन ऑन दैट एंड अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग ओपिनियन। बट स्ट्रॉन्ग ओपिनियन के साथ एक थोड़ा सा आपको क्या चाहिए है कि एट नो पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम you will have to be very very critical of the government. आपको guiding light जो है आपकी, that is the constitution. So wherever you feel that you need to criticize something, criticize holding the hands of the constitution. Constitution को पकड़िए, उसके हिसाब से constitution जो हमारे morality है या हमारा constitution का basic structure है, उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए अपनी arguments आपने frame करनी है। और security angle आपने definitely देना है, क्योंकि जैसा सर ने कहा you will be required to be serving as a security person. तो आपका जहन पढ़ने वाले को लगना चाहिए कि सिक्योरिटी एंगल को हमेशा ध्यान में रख के यू आर टेकिंग ऑल द डिसीजंस. So always keep that in mind.
Okay, one more thing, like for example, how did you approach an essay? For example, how did you choose a particular topic? For example, there are 4 to 5 topics will be there. In UPSC, you have section A and section B where 4 essays in each section is there. Here also in the intelligence examination, there will be 4 to 5 topics. We have to choose one. Please explain the importance of choosing the topic of the essay. The important, because that also maybe that defines how much marks you will be getting. Sometimes just we want to choose an unconventional topic just to look a little cool, and that is where we end up compromising some marks. So what should be the approach while choosing a topic?
Okay. So I would like to explain ये जो आपका क्वेश्चन है कि essay को कैसे चुना जाए, उसको I would like to explain कि आप imagine करिए जो आपका essay finally तैयार होगा वो आपके घर की तरह है. You are supposed to, let's say कि आपका essay एक building है जो आपको तैयार करने का responsibility दिया गया है. Now I would like all of you to tell me अगर आपको building बनानी है तो what are the materials that are required? क्या क्या चीजों की जरूरत पड़ती है आपको एक बिल्डिंग बनाने के लिए, एक घर बनाने के लिए?
Be interactive, guys.
Concrete, sand, bricks.
Okay, concrete, sand, bricks. What else?
Cement.
Cement, yes. What else?
Aiman, Jasmine, Shubhadi, why are you not participating, guys?
Sir, paint.
Paint, okay.
Rod, sir.
Rocks, okay.
Rod.
Okay, rods also
Rebars.
required. You require iron bars. Now, इसमें दो चीजें हैं. Lessons are 2. यहाँ पे जो मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिया घर बनाने वाला, इसमें दो लेसन्स हैं जो हमें सीखने हैं. नंबर 1, जब भी आप किसी चीज के बारे में सोचते हो, क्योंकि ऐसे एक सोची हुई, एक डिजाइन की हुई हमारा स्ट्रक्चर्ड एक फॉर्मेशन है, तो उसमें आपने क्या करना है, हमेशा अपने थॉट प्रोसेस को बनाइए लॉजिकल. प्रोसेस शुरू कहां से होता है? प्रोसेस शुरू होता है आपके दिमाग से. सबसे पहले क्या चाहिए? नन ऑफ यू मेंशन्ड कि एक नक्शा चाहिए, एक मैप चाहिए आपको. ठीक है, स्टार्ट विद द मोस्ट लॉजिकल थिंग. सीक्वेंस में चलना है हमेशा. सो यू स्टार्ट विद अ मैप. पहले आप ब्लूप्रिंट बनाते हो एक पीस ऑफ पेपर पे कि मेरे को ऐसा घर चाहिए, इतने मेरे को बेडरूम चाहिए, यहाँ पे मुझे ड्राइंग रूम चाहिए, यहाँ पे वॉशरूम चाहिए, यहाँ पे किचन चाहिए, यहाँ पे मुझे गाड़ी के लिए पार्किंग चाहिए, यहाँ पे घर के लिए गार्डन चाहिए. ठीक है, फर्स्ट दैट ब्लूप्रिंट इज मेड. ब्लूप्रिंट बनाने के बाद व्हाट डू यू डू? आप उस ब्लूप्रिंट के लिए फाउंडेशन तैयार करते हैं. ठीक है, कंक्रीट से आप पहले उसको डिग इन करते हैं, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन कितना आपको बनाना है स्ट्रक्चर, उसके हिसाब से आप जिसको हम कहते हैं प्लिंथ डालते हो. ठीक है, आफ्टर दैट पूरा घर का काम शुरू होता है, स्टार्टिंग विद द ब्रिक्स एंड ऑल दैट. ठीक है, तो पहला लेसन यही है कि हमेशा आपको क्या करना है, एक स्ट्रक्चर्ड तरीके से सोचना है. नॉट जस्ट फॉर ऐसे, लाइफ में हर चीज को आपने अगर स्टार्टिंग से सोचना सीख लिया कि हाउ डू यू स्टार्ट विद द प्रोसेस, हाउ डू यू गो अबाउट एंड हाउ डू यू मूव इट फॉरवर्ड, तो स्ट्रक्चर सबसे पहले इंपॉर्टेंट है. आपके जहन में पहली चीज है फाउंडेशन का एक ब्लूप्रिंट तैयार हो. दूसरा है लॉजिकली सोचना है. स्टेप्स लॉजिकली सोचेंगे कभी भी आप भूलोगे नहीं. अगेन अनदर एग्जांपल जो मैं कई बार बच्चों को देता हूं, चाय बनाने का, क्योंकि इट इज समथिंग व्हिच इज वेरी कॉमन टू ऑल ऑफ अस. हम सब चाय पीते ही हैं कहीं ना कहीं. तो जिस इंसान ने चाय बनाई है या चाय पी है, घर वालों ने उनके सामने बनाई है, तो यू आर अवेयर कि व्हाट इज द प्रोसेस. पहले आप पानी गर्म करेंगे, फिर आप जो भी चाय मसाला है वो डालेंगे, चाय पत्ती डालेंगे, ऑल दैट. देयर इज अ डेफिनेट प्रोसेस. अगर आप कोई चीज मिस कर देते हैं बीच में, फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू फॉरगेट टू पुट लेट्स से शुगर, यू फॉरगेट टू पुट लेट्स से टी लीव्स, तो आपका चाय का एसेंस खत्म हो जाएगा. सो लॉजिकली हमेशा सोचना है, लॉजिकली सोचेंगे तो कभी भी आप कोई पॉइंट मिस नहीं करेंगे. और नंबर 2 जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट मैं पॉइंट आपको हाईलाइट करना चाहता था विद द एग्जांपल ऑफ जो आपने घर बनाने की बात करी हमने, तो आप घर किन चीजों से बनाओगे जो आपने सारी मेंशन करी, उसी तरीके से इसी एनालॉजी से हम ये समझेंगे. हमारा क्वेश्चन क्या था कि टॉपिक कैसे चूज किया जाए ना. टॉपिक आप वैसे ही चूज करोगे जैसे आपको घर बनाना है, तो आप घर वैसा ही बना पाओगे जैसा आपके पास मटेरियल है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आप अगर राजस्थान में हैं तो आप ईंटें नहीं यूज करोगे, यू विल यूज अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ रॉक. अगर आप किसी और जगह पे हैं, फॉर एग्जाम्पल माउंटेन एरिया में है, तो आपका जो रूफ है वो दैट विल नॉट बी अ फ्लैट रूफ, दैट विल ऑलवेज बी अ थैच्ड रूफ, सो दैट जब स्नोफॉल गिरती है तो इट फॉल्स डाउन. तो उसी तरह से ऐसे जब आपने चूज करना है तो आपको, क्योंकि जब आप तैयारी करेंगे, नाउ यू विल बी मेकिंग नोट्स, यू विल बी गैदरिंग एग्जांपल्स, तो सबसे पहले आपको पता रहेगा कि मेरा जो घर बनेगा, तो घर बनाने के लिए मेरे पास सामान अवेलेबल क्या है, सामान क्या है, जो नोट्स आपने बनाए हैं. तो वंस यू आर नाउ दिस प्रोसेस आज शुरू हो रहा है, तो यू विल टोटली अंडरस्टैंड. जब भी आपका 1 महीने बाद 2 महीने बाद एग्जाम होगा, तो एग्जाम के दिन से पहले ही आपको पता रहेगा कि आपकी किटी में क्या क्या चीजें अवेलेबल हैं, किस तरह के एग्जाम्पल्स आपको अवेलेबल हैं, किस तरह का फैक्ट्स आपने इकट्ठे करे हैं, कौन से आपने डेटा रिवाइज करा हुआ है, किस फिलोसोफर की बातें आपको ज्यादा अच्छे से याद है. तो वो आपका क्या है, मटेरियल है घर बनाने के लिए. नाउ जब मटेरियल आपको पता है, उसके हिसाब से ही आपको देखना है कि कौन सा टॉपिक वैसा है जो मेरे मटेरियल से सबसे ज्यादा सूट करता है. तो दैट इज द फर्स्ट स्टेप. इसी के साथ मिलता जुलता इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप है, दैट इज इनफैक्ट इवन मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन, कि आपके मटेरियल से भी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है कि जो एसे का टॉपिक है क्या आप उसको अच्छे से समझ पाए हैं. अगर हम यूपीएससी की बात करें तो यूपीएससी में ज्यादा फिलोसॉफिकल एसेज आते हैं, तो फिलोसॉफिकल एसेज में और भी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है कि हम एसे का जो टॉपिक है उसको अच्छे से समझें. अगर हम टॉपिक को अच्छे से समझ ही नहीं पाते हैं, तो देन जैसा सर ने कहा, वी माइट एंड अप लूजिंग मार्क्स ऑन दैट. तो पहला क्राइटेरिया इज टू अंडरस्टैंड द टॉपिक. सेकेंड क्राइटेरिया, आपको घर का एग्जाम्पल याद आ जाना चाहिए कि मेरे पास घर बनाने के लिए सामान क्या अवेलेबल है. उसी सामान को यूज करके, लेट्स से कि आपको 2 या 3 टॉपिक ऐसे लग रहे हैं कि जो आपने अच्छे से समझ लिए हैं, यू कैन राइट ऑन दैट. आउट ऑफ दोस 2 और 3 टॉपिक्स, फिर आपने ये सोचना है कि इन 2 टॉपिक से या 3 टॉपिक्स में से कौन सा टॉपिक है जिसके लिए मेरे पास मटेरियल अच्छा अवेलेबल है, जिसके लिए ब्लूप्रिंट अच्छा मैं बना सकता हूं. देन यू गो अबाउट राइटिंग द आंसर. तो ये कुछ 2 आई थिंक तरीके हैं जिससे आप टॉपिक का जो हेडिंग है वो चूज कर सकते हैं कि किस पे आपको ऐसे लिखना है.
Okay, thank you, Major Abhinandan. This was really insightful. And before we let you go, a few things I want to share with the candidates, that we will be, the topics that we'll be covering in this program will, since it's a security examination, so we will like to work on the topics, areas that strengthen our understanding of the security issues. So we will be studying about internal security. We will study in depth about internal security. We'll also cover areas with respect to international relations and geopolitics. That will also be taken care of. Apart from that, we will also study about various social issues and, maybe issues related to governance, as well as some ethical standpoints. We'll also study about various philosophers that we can quote in our security essays as well. Along with that, disaster management and few of these topics will also be looked into. So in these topics, so it is very, it's a bonanza for you that Major Abhinandan will also be taking some of these classes. So guest lectures will be taken by Major Abhinandan as well. So he will also be sharing his insights with you, his practical experience, as well as how he approached his UPSC journey, and what are, so you can, kind of take benefit of that. So classes will start after this orientation session. We will have, a security session that I will take, and gradually over the next few weeks, me and Major Abhinandan, we both will be taking your classes. He will also pitch in with some insights there. So you can ask, before we let him go, if you want to ask any questions, you can ask a few questions, and then we will move on to the next program. Yeah. Anyone wants to ask any questions?
Sir, does vocabulary play important role, sir? Using
Please,
scientific-
first of all, introduce yourself and then
Sorry.
ask the question.
Sorry, sir. So my name is Kunal.
ओके सो कुणाल, आपका जो सवाल है कि क्या वोकेबुलरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करती है, नाउ मेरा सिंपल सा थॉट प्रोसेस है हमेशा कि कोई भी एग्जामिनेशन है, इंटरव्यू स्टेज है, मेन स्टेज है, अपने आप को एग्जामिनर की जगह रख के देखिए. नाउ अगर आप एसे की कॉपी चेक कर रहे हैं, व्हाट इज इट दैट यू विल लुक फॉर इन द एसे?
The topic, मतलब
लेट्स से आपके
अभी
जो आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा उसी के कंसर्निंग मैं आपको क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ. 2 कॉपीज आप चेक कर रहे हैं. नंबर 1, जिसने ग्रामेटिकली कोई मिस्टेक नहीं करी है, जिसने डिसेंट वोकैबुलरी. जो वोकैबुलरी का ये मतलब नहीं है कि वी आर यूजिंग विक्टोरियन इंग्लिश एंड शशि थरूर लेवल हमने वर्ड्स नहीं यूज करने हैं. बेसिक जो सबको समझ आ सके वो यूज करने हैं. नाउ देयर आर 2 कैंडिडेट्स. नंबर 1, जिसने नॉर्मल डिसेंट इंग्लिश लिखा है, अच्छे से अपने कॉन्सेप्ट्स को एक्सप्लेन करा है, कोई ग्रामेटिकल मिस्टेक्स नहीं करी हैं, दिखने में उसका जो आंसर कॉपी है वो अच्छी है. एंड अनदर कैंडिडेट जिसने इक्वली अच्छा लिखा है इन टर्म्स ऑफ दिखने में सब कुछ ठीक है, बट ग्रामेटिकल मिस्टेक्स करी हैं और एक आध कोई बहुत ही एक्स्ट्रावेगेंट वर्ड लिखा है, बट मेजॉरिटी में उन्होंने गलती करी है. तो आप किसको ज्यादा मार्क्स देंगे इन टर्म्स ऑफ वोकैबुलरी, या आपको पढ़ने में क्या मजा आना चाहिए दोनों में से?
तो जिसमें गलतियां नहीं हुई.
हाँ, तो ऑब्वियसली आपको ये चीज सोचनी है कि एग्जामिनर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से आपको हमेशा एक चीज लेके चलनी है अपने आप को. जब मैं एज एन एग्जामिनर या आप एज एन एग्जामिनर ऐसे को पढ़ोगे, द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, ये ऐसे में भी एप्लीकेबल है एंड ये इंटरव्यू स्टेज जब आप इंटरव्यू देंगे, इंटरव्यू के लिए भी सेम चीज एप्लीकेबल है. जब आपका इंटरव्यू खत्म होता है या जब आपका ऐसे मैं पढ़ना खत्म करूंगा, व्हाट इज द इंप्रेशन दैट यू गिव ऑफ योरसेल्फ टू मी? इफ आई हैव लव्ड रीडिंग योर एसे, मुझे आपका जो एसे है वो पढ़ के मजा आया, आपने अच्छी डायमेंशंस डिस्कस करी, यूनिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स डिस्कस करे, तो आई विल गिव यू गुड मार्क्स. बट अगर आपने ऐसा किया ग्रामेटिकल मिस्टेक्स हो रही हैं, तो देन आई गेट अ लिटिल perturbed by that. I will start a little sense of dislike develops regarding that candidate, not particularly but with respect to that copy. तो वो सोचना है कि ग्रामेटिकल मिस्टेक्स, वोकैबुलरी का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आपको बहुत ही हाई फाई वर्ड्स चाहिए. बेसिक डिसेंट इंग्लिश, डिसेंट ग्रामर, मिस्टेक्स नहीं होनी चाहिए. टेंसेस को लेके कई बार बच्चे बहुत गलती करते हैं, तो जहां पे टेंसेस की गलती होती है वहां पे तो लेट मी टेल यू, आई हैव चेक्ड अ फ्यू कॉपीज, यू स्टार्ट फीलिंग कि दिस स्टूडेंट डज नॉट डिजर्व मार्क्स. तो वो गलतियां नहीं होनी चाहिए. हाँ जी.
Anyone else wants to ask any more questions?
Shubham, you have a question?
Yes, sir.
हाँ जी, please.
Example, the format is like there is one test.
Shubham, I request if you can be a little loud, please. आपका आवाज थोड़ा कम आ रहा है.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
In the exam, there will be one test question and then 2 long answer questions.
I think he's not audible clearly.
Shubham, आप audible नहीं है, थोड़ा सा I request थोड़ा सा you have to be a little loud and closer to the mic. आप थोड़ा माइक के पास आके बोलिए. I think you will be a little clear that way.
In the meantime, if someone else, I think Shubham has some issues with his mic. Anyone else wants to pitch in with a question?
Yes, may I, sir?
Yes, Hotra.
Yeah.
Sir, does motivation leads to discipline or discipline leads to motivation?
That's a very good question. It's a vicious circle. Both play a role in each other. For beginning, for example, if you have to start today, definitely you start with the motivation. But motivation lasts only as long as the session lasts, or only as long as maybe let's say a couple of days, a couple of weeks at max. Beyond that, what carries you is discipline. So once you learn, you start with motivation, then you learn discipline. And once you learn discipline, then you feel motivated that you are a disciplined person. You start feeling proud of yourselves, and that is what motivates you. So both contribute to each other. It cannot happen that I motivate you today or sir motivates you today, and then 2 days after that you will again be seeking motivation. But if you learn discipline, then you will never be requiring motivation again.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Hotrik, I just want to add one more thing. Since we don't prepare you only for prelims, mains, or interview, we prepare you in general for developing a strong personality. So I would advise next time you ask a question, there should be a thump in your voice. Your voice should be confident, it should be clear, and it should make the person in front of you, because there's not going to be a separate training when we start preparing after phase 2, when we have interviews. So we don't need to start from scratch. It has to be a continuous process. So develop that confidence, because we are a small group of people. We are all trying to learn and grow here. So I advise all of you to first, because the more you learn and try to interact in the group here, the more confidence you will develop once you go out into the world. And when you give the interview, there will be 4 to 5 very, very senior people having 30 plus years of experience. So any kind of this thing will definitely not help. So in moving forward, I would advise and encourage you to be a little more confident.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, I think Shubham has a question. There will be one long. So for essay writing, strategy should be flowing in nature. Long answer should stick to facts like general studies. Yeah, so he basically is asking questions. Basically, there will be an essay and there will be few argument-based questions. So what should be the approach in both? Because that will be, arguments will be smaller question, 10 markers, and the essays will be longer. So what would be the approach there?
Shubham, in a way, you have already brought the answer to this question in your question itself. So essay ka we have already discussed. And when we talk about the general answers जो आप दो बात कर रहे हैं, yes, mostly it will be facts, but again, it cannot be purely facts. The question will decide the content of the answer. Always हमें ये चीज याद रखनी है कि हमें क्वेश्चन को आंसर करना है, ना कि जो चीज हमें आती है वो चीज हमें लिखनी है. So first you understand what is the question, what is the demand of the question, and as per that, वही सेम एनालॉजी जो मैंने आपको घर के लिए दी थी, तो आपके लिए आपको पता है कि कंटेंट आपके पास क्या है. फॉर एग्जांपल, लेट्स से कोई टॉपिक, इट्स अ वेरी हाइपोथेटिकल एग्जांपल कि कोऑपरेटिव को लेके कोई क्वेश्चन है, इट्स अ जीएस बेस्ड क्वेश्चन, बट अभी आपको पता है कि जो आपने कोऑपरेटिव्स के नोट्स बनाए हैं, तो नोट्स में आपके पास ये चीजें हैं, यानी कि दीज आर द मटेरियल जिसके बेसिस पे आप अपना घर तैयार करेंगे. बट डिपेंड करेगा कि उस क्वेश्चन की डिमांड क्या है. क्वेश्चन की डिमांड यानी कि इन अ वे, घर का अगर एग्जांपल लिया जाए तो घर का नक्शा, तो दैट इज द सेम थिंग. तो क्वेश्चन की डिमांड विल डिसाइड कि वही कंटेंट जो आपके पास है उसको आप कैसे रिफर्बिश करके कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं. सो दैट विल ऑलवेज डिसाइड कि व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ योर आंसर, व्हाट कम्स फर्स्ट एंड व्हाट कम्स आफ्टर दैट. आप जेनरिक ऐसे लेके मत चलिए कि सिर्फ फैक्ट्स डालने हैं. फैक्ट्स डालने का भी एक तरतीब रहेगी, उसमें एक सीक्वेंस रहेगी, एंड दैट विल ऑलवेज बी डिसाइडेड बाय कि क्वेश्चन की रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है, वो समझने की जरूरत है. आई होप दैट आंसर्स योर क्वेश्चन, शुभम.
I will add one point to what very beautifully pointed out, observations by Maj Abhinandan. Just one point to that essay or argument-based questions, whatever you are writing. So the knowledge is whatever we will be doing in the classes, that will be helping us build our knowledge, isn't it? That will be building the repository of our knowledge. Now you have the entire closet. आपके अलमीरा में बहुत सारे कपड़े हैं. आपको कौन सा कपड़ा कहाँ उठा के पहन के जाना है, वो आपको wisdom develop करनी. Similarly, you must have read various topics. So essay will test your, understanding of a deeper insights में आपको कैसे जाना है. और इस तरह से ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस होंगे, फॉर एग्जांपल आर्गुमेंट बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस. वहां पे भी आपको, जैसे मेजर अभिनंदन ने बोला कि कोऑपरेटिव्स के सवाल पे आपको कौन सा कंपोनेंट वहां पे मेंशन करना है. सो उस नॉलेज को, इट्स जस्ट लाइक टोमेटो इज अ फ्रूट बट इट्स नॉट पुटिंग इन द फ्रूट सैलड. दैट्स विजडम. So that kind of wisdom that you have to develop. So to understand the concepts, not cram them. That is the idea here, isn't it? Yeah. Anyone else? Aiman, I think you wanted to ask a few questions before. I think this is your opportunity to ask.
Sir has already answered my questions.
Okay, wonderful.
Hello, sir.
Anyone else?
Yes, Jasmine,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
I'm Jasmine from Andhra, sir.
Yes, Jasmine, please go ahead.
You're very new to essay writing. Will reading other people's essays like that were previously written, or like by imitating the essay that other people have written, will it help?
It will help in motivation, and it will help in drawing the right lessons as to what should be the approach. But you don't have to get intimidated by that you are not able to write that essay as of now. It is just like, for example, you are starting today. There might be some individual who started 1 year back and he's already able to run 42 kilometers. You cannot compare yourself with him or her and say that he's able to run 42 and I am not able to run even 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So once you read the topper's answer copies, you have to derive the right lessons. What are the lessons? Number one, how is the introduction framed, how is the conclusion framed, how from one paragraph we are flowing to the next, and most importantly what kind of content is he or she using in the essay. तो इन चीजों को आपको सीख के you have to learn these things and then you implement them in your essay. Definitely the first essay that you write is going to be not very nice. And second thing आपने कहा कि if somebody is new to essay, nobody is new to essay. Anybody who has been through the formal education system 10th 12th तक जिसने पढ़ाई करी है, he has written a lot of essays in life, though the quality may not have been that good, but you or nobody else who is here is new to the essay. So leave that kind of myth that you are new here.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I hope that answers your question. Anyone else before we just, I think it's time that because of time constraint, Major Abhinandan has a couple of more meetings to attend. So I think if nobody has any more questions, we will wrap this session up. Any more questions, anyone? So that's it. So thank you, Major Abhinandan, for your valuable insights. Indeed, I am sure it will be a insightful discussion, and it was an insightful discussion for the candidates also. They must have taken a few important inputs, and over the period of next 2 to 3 to 4, whatever time we are having these classes, they will try to derive maximum value from this program. And not just, this is going to be helpful for you, not just for the Intelligence Bureau Phase 2 examination, but for your civil services examination, be it your state civil services or your UPSC civil services. The idea, see, knowledge cannot be divorced from one exam to the other. It is always something that, very integrative. So our approach has always been to build that, killer instinct in you, build that mindset in you that goes beyond a particular examination. As Major Abhinandan mentioned in the very beginning, that we're not preparing for an examination, it's a preparation for life. It is an association for life. It's something that, we all have this responsibility of building this country into a great country. So this is just one of the ways in which we can, develop ourselves. If we develop ourselves fully, commit ourselves fully to what we are doing currently as a student, preparing for a certain examination, what is your responsibility? Your responsibility is to commit fully, immerse yourself into the process. And irrespective of the result, because that is something that is not in your control, irrespective of the result, you should be thoroughly satisfied with the effort that you give during the process. If that be the case, there are no regrets, isn't it? Okay, so thank you, Major Abhinandan, for joining in the session. It was indeed quite helpful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. All the best, everybody. See you soon. Good day. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. So friends, after this brief, I just want to tell you that now we are going to the motivation and the initiation being done. Now our objective and target is to move on to the next, next action, next step that we need to take. Just after 15 minutes, we'll take a 15 minutes break and we'll start with the internal security. We will start the classes, okay? And I want you to make sure that I want 100% commitment from you guys, all of you guys, because prelims is something where you don't need to, you have to cram a little bit, you have to understand a little bit, and maybe you can get across the line. Here, the process is to be very, very immersive. You need to put in the extra effort. It is said that you can take a horse to the water, but you cannot make him drink, isn't it? So I will take you to the water as well, and I will push you to drink as well. So that is going to be the approach. I'm not going to let you be there. So that is the idea. And let's move forward. Forget that you're preparing for the intelligence examination. Just forget about the exam now. Here, your focus should not be on, when the exam is happening. Please don't ask me the question, any of the candidates here, and those of you, of your friends who are asking you as well. These questions are futile and useless. What will be the cutoff? When will the exam be held? When the result will come? I certainly don't entertain such questions, and I certainly don't want you to speculate on such things. Your entire focus should now be on what lies ahead. Because अगर आपने एग्जाम की तैयारी करनी है अगले 1 से 2 साल, डिफरेंट एग्जामिनेशंस हैं, इसके ये IB क्लियर हो जाता है, आप सिविल सर्विस करना चाहते हैं, तो उसके लिए भी आपके पास एक सर्टेन टाइम है. तो आपका विजन वहां होना चाहिए कि हाउ कैन आई बेस्ट यूटिलाइज माई टाइम. So few things I want you to start from today itself. If you are not reading newspapers as of now, so some essentials that you need to start doing from today. Read the daily newspaper, that is non-negotiable. I have been emphasizing this over and over again, but it is all the more important for the mains examination, UPSC as well as other examinations. If you're preparing for, so this is going to be relevant for your UPSC mains, your IB mains, your CAPF, as well as your interviews. So newspaper is something that will build your worldview, your understanding about a variety of issues. Second thing you have to do is, again, minimize or subtract or eliminate, I would rather say, the UPSC candidates, they can wait for another 5 minutes. Ms. Neha, you can communicate to them that we will start the class in another 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, 5-10 minutes में start करते. Yeah, minimize and eliminate sensational news from your intellectual diet. इसको बिल्कुल minimize कर दो and feed high quality information. These are the two things that you have to start doing. ठीक है? इसके अलावा at your personal level, start writing one short essay every alternate day. That could be 200 to 300 words. Okay? You can do alternate days as of now. And whatever classes that we will be having, in classes maybe like now we'll start with internal security. The classes that we will be having, try to understand the essence and then pick up the previous year questions. How or various examination, CAPF का उठा लो और किसी एग्जाम में जहाँ पे ऐसे का एग्जाम होता है UPSC का ऐसे उठा लो, उसको 300 से 400 वर्ड्स में 300 to 400 वर्ड्स और मैक्स 500 वर्ड्स में लिखने की कोशिश करो. ठीक है? This is the approach. And with this, I'm sure if we do this consistently enough over the period of next, 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, our progress from now 10th October to 10th of November shall be substantial, isn't it? ठीक है? तो ये रहेगा अपना. बाकी हम classes मेजर अभिनंदन भी लेंगे आपकी classes. Few, he will take good number of classes. He will also take, and we will try to make sure कि the idea to have the batch small was only to keep the quality intact. And I would want all of you to be more interactive from now onwards. The videos have to be on in the class and the audios, if required, have to be muted or unmuted because I don't want to be talking to a wall. Okay. So be mindful of this in the future, all of you. I don't want to be emphasizing this fact again and again. Okay. So let's wrap this up here. That's all about the orientation. Now we will move to the business end of things. Okay. And you can have your dinner, Vasant. The class, I'll start the class in 10-15 minutes. In 5 to 10 minutes, class will start. You can join the class in between. No worries. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Any questions? Anyone else before we just wrap up the session? किसी को कुछ सवाल पूछना है? तो फिर हम actual class start करेंगे.
Sir, one question, sir.
Yeah, Hotrek, please.
Till now, I didn't start. I've started only recently started reading newspapers. So should I? So I should go 1 month, 2 month back newspapers and read it.
No. Today. The water that has flown under the Chenab is gone. Don't try to tap the water that is gone. The things that are gone forever. Try to start today. Let go of what is. Today is the time. This is the moment.
Okay.
And from now onwards, be disciplined. Yes. Anyone else? कुछ सवाल है किसी को? about the program. And I hope the interaction with Major Abhinandan was meaningful. It was designed specifically to give you, another perspective, because we both will be interacting with you. So it was only apt that he also shared his insights with you. Shubhadeep, what was the experience? I hope it was good, since you are
Yes,
also a civil services aspirant.
yes, sir. I have got many insights and many new ideas and how to actually disciplinize my preparation and all.
Wonderful. ठीक है. So at this note, let's wrap up the session. And now the real grind starts. अब से थोड़ा सा और डिसिप्लिन हो जाओ. डेली का अपना जो टारगेट्स है उनको अचीव करो और आगे बढ़ो. ठीक है. चलिए, सी यू इन द क्लास आफ्टर 10 मिनट्स. 10 मिनट के बाद क्लास में मिलते हैं. ओके, थैंक यू. जय हिंद.